Hello. Hello, I hope everybody's doing fine. This one is going to be a YouTube that I was really looking forward to because it's about my guitar. Okay, the name of it's going to be my new used guitar and the evolution of my guitar playing. Okay, since I was young, very young, maybe like in around high school or something like that, maybe around 17, 18, 19, I got my first guitar. I wanted to play the guitar. And, but before we do that, should I get into the story? I want to show you the guitar. Should I tell you about the story? Just because I'm talking about my new used guitar. But should I explain to you part of the, okay, so I'm going to explain part of the evolution, okay, of my guitar playing. When I was young, okay, things were different like when I was growing up. I mean, everything was like different. There was always music stores everywhere, physical music stores. And now everything is on the computer. And inside, like they had like record stores, and some of the record stores, the music stores, where they would sell records, they had like in the back or some other area to where they would teach guitars or they would sell guitars. And they had sheet music, a big deal. That was a big deal also back then. You could easily get sheet music anywhere. You could get, like you said, albums. You could get 45s. And it would most likely be like a regular music store. And they would teach in a lot of places, a lot of them, they would teach. I mean, if you lived in like a normal sized city or big, definitely in a big city, but a normal sized city. And they would teach, they would sometimes sell guitars and give lessons. Of course, you can get that in the high schools. I mean, in the community colleges also. That kind of helped me out as far as music is concerned. But I went into a music store because I would buy sheet music a lot. I don't know why. I didn't know how to. I was getting into it. I was learning about reading music always because we read music. One thing about it is that in New York, which I grew up in New York, Buffalo, New York, they have a system to where you have to read music. So I can't say I don't read music because they teach you music for years. I mean, I would definitely have to say, I have to definitely credit them for helping me as far as music, my music education, because we have singing class. We always had singing class, ever since I was like in 5th grade, because in 5th grade, that was one of the classes that you would have to change to go to music class. So you have all your classes and this is the way the system was in New York where I grew up. You have all your classes, inside the classroom, but the music class was this is my school. It was called School 3. They had just the numbers. And in the music class, I mean, when you had a music class, you had to, go to the music teacher and it was a music teacher. And she would teach you the staff and she would teach you this. And then we would take singing lessons. I mean, just sing, certain things. Our favorite one was This Train. This train was, everybody said, please, let's sing that song. So anyway, that's a little background as far as how I was always interested in music. Going back to the music store, one time I was there in a music store and I saw this guitar and I wanted to get this guitar. And they asked me, do you want the steel or the nylon, a classical guitar? So I said, okay, I wanted the classical guitar. And I started taking lessons. Guitar. I bought the guitar and then I started taking guitar lessons. I think they only charged maybe like $6 an hour. It was something like that. But they were very patient and it was a very nice experience. So now, where do we go from there? Should I show you my guitars? Okay. Because I want to tell you some of the things that I picked up from them. And actually, it was just a few notes and of a song, and I would have to practice that all the time. I think I would go every week, something like that. I don't know if I stuck with it too long, but one of the problems that I had was switching the was moving my fingers. I mean, putting your fingers in very odd positions. So that's one thing that I didn't like, which I wanted to understand about that. And now I'm still talking about the evolution of my music, of my learning. I have to say guitar. I'm not going to put any, I'm just, because this is about the evolution of the guitar. And then I'm going to show you my new used guitar and my other guitar, because I do have another guitar. Now I have two guitars. And so as time went on, I always kept my guitar. I always wanted to play it, and I just knew this one part of a song, and I would play it all the time. And my cousin would come over and go, "You know how to play the guitar?" And I would play that little piece, and they, "Oh, that's so great," you know. And I kept up with the guitar, and I guess I'm gonna go flash forward. Oh, then there was another time I did other instruments, so, but we're just gonna talk about the guitar. Now, as far as the guitar, I wouldn't play like in front of people, and I never really learned the chords and things like that, but I knew I liked to play the guitar. And then I was in New York. This is a flash forward. I mean, it was like a lot of years later, more than a decade. And yeah, more than a decade. And I was in New York, and I had a friend and that I lived with, very nice person, and I wanted to get this guitar. I wanted to do music again. So he helped me get the guitar, and I got the electric guitar. But I also had another guitar. I had a small, cheap guitar that I bought somewhere. Maybe it was like this big. It was a guitar, but it was like a small guitar, almost like a ukulele or something, but it wasn't. I guess it was a ukulele, a small guitar. So I would play that one, and I wrote some songs, and I could play the guitar. I mean, I would make sounds. I don't know how I did it. I didn't look for any keys. I didn't look for any kind of structure whatsoever. I just played it. And it was funny, I was in a place, I mean, as far as a place, I'm talking about in my mind, to where I was just working, and I was just like, almost like, I'm not saying, I'm gonna say animal. I was an animal. A lot of times I was an animal. But what I'm saying is an animal, it means just somebody who, I'm not saying like an animal, but a person animal. And I'm not saying anything bad, but more like somebody who's just using life, okay? So it's not a bad term, but it's a good term. Because I could go into, like I said, there was still, at this time, there was still music stores. And this was in New York, so it was a bigger, and it was a better type, you know, how can I say? A better type, there's a word. There's a educational word, but I can't come up because I'm just talking like this. A context. It was like a bigger context. It was like when people would come in, they would sell these keyboards. They had one store for the keyboards, and then another store. This is in New York, if you're familiar with it. It's like in the 90s, I guess. And there was another store if you wanted to do the guitar. You know, they had guitar, they had sheet music. Things were still pretty much, you know, like it was in the 80s, but it was moving out, moving. And I could go onto the keyboards. I mean, I told you I wasn't going to talk too much about other instruments, but I could go onto the keyboards and just like play anything. The only thing about it is I couldn't play it back, or I couldn't play, like I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew that I was playing those keyboards because I was in like this animal stage. Like I said, it has nothing to do with an animal, but it's like almost like a gusto, some kind of life situation to where you're just coming and going. You don't have time to think about anything, because New York is like really fast and you have to do all these things. And I would just play the piano and play classical, play jazz, whatever, okay? But I knew that I couldn't play things back. I didn't know, I couldn't do it with the music, but it was there, you know? So after that, I wanted to get a guitar, and I said my friend helped me get this guitar. And it was a new guitar. I don't know how much it cost. I forgot the name of how much, but it was a nice guitar. It was a black guitar. And I got it. And they knew that I wasn't able to get it, but you know, my friend called and said, yeah, get him this guitar. And he gave him the number. I don't know if he gave me the card or I gave them the card and they called him, but I know they called him or whatever. And I purchased the guitar, and I could play it. I didn't know what I was doing. Like I said, it was like this animal type situation. And I know I was doing, and I played the guitar very well, you know. And then after that, I sold the guitar because I had to sell it at one point as time went on. But when I went to sell it, I remember, and I wouldn't play with a pick, okay? I didn't even have to play with a pick. But I remember they were checking on the guitar to see if it was stolen or something, because they had a number and everything on it. But while I was waiting for it, because they were gonna buy my guitar, I think they were giving me like almost like $300 or $400 for it, okay? So you know it was a nice guitar, because I'm sure they weren't giving me the right price. And I was playing the guitar without a pick. I could do water. I mean, I could like play in to where you hear like it's like a water or something, and play with the you know, the guitar, you know. I didn't know anything about what was what. I mean, I knew about it, but I didn't think about anything like that. So then I played this guitar, and then they said, okay, we're gonna give you this money for it. And I took it, and that was that part of that guitar thing, okay? And then now flash forward a little bit more. I was working in this bakery, and this friend of mine said there was something else I wanted to do. Okay, I have to say this part. There was another place I was working at before I get to, because I'm not going to flash forward too much. I'm going back to where I was before. And I was working in this really nice place. I was putting together, me and this other guy were putting together, it was like a computer place or something, to where they sell computers. They put computers together, not like mass production, but it's specific. I mean, like for instance, somebody wanted a computer system, some kind of computer system, and they wanted certain things. It was more like a custom made, they would make custom made computer things, whatever it was, okay? I just know it was computer things that it wasn't mass production. I mean, sometimes it would be mass production because we have to make like 75 of one thing, okay? And only me and this guy, it was like a little office that we had. He was working on one side, I was working on one side, and they got me because I could just like put things together, put it just like they have to be able to show it to you, and you have to be able to put it together without any diagrams or anything, because they have a person that does the diagrams and do all these diagrams and stuff like that, but the person who actually puts it together, I mean, because we're the manual workers, the manual workers had to be able to either they show you once and you do it, or you look at it, okay, and say, okay, yeah, I gotta ask the questions that I had, had the question, well, this way, because after a while you pretty much can see the different wires and stuff. But I was able to do it, and there was another guy that was able to do it, and they hired us from a temporary agency, and we were both able to do it. And I think he was there before I did, and we would just put things together. I mean, like, because our job was like the manual one. The only thing they needed us to do was put these things together. And if they didn't have anything for us to do, because they needed us really bad, sometimes we wouldn't do anything. We could just like walk around. There was like a small warehouse type thing. We would walk around and talk and stuff like that. They didn't care. Just as long as when they had orders, we would have to put them together. And put them together, sometimes I would have to do 75, and you have to put them on like 25, 25, 25. And, but anyway, one time there was a guy there who had a bass, and I told him I could play the guitar, and he goes, I don't believe that you can play the guitar. I'm going to bring it. So he brought everybody went around me. Everybody was like family there, and they circled around me, and he brought the guitar the next day, and I started playing it like I play it like an animal type play. And he said he's just moving his fingers, and I said, okay, you do it. And the other guy took the bass, and he says, I can't do it, but I could do it. So I'm going into how I play the guitar, and I could just like, but remember, like when I first started my evolution, I couldn't do that. I couldn't move on the guitar at all. So I'm still going through my evolution of the guitar. So I guess that's where the way I'm going to do it. So now, okay, I'm going to flash forward, and I'm going to say that I was, okay, it's around this time now, this era that we're in. And I was working at this bakery, and one of my friends said that she said she had a guitar that she wanted to sell. Actually had a keyboard and a guitar. First I bought the keyboard. Yeah, I think first I bought the keyboard. And then after that, I bought the guitar. I bought her a guitar. And I did do something. If you look in my some of my first videos, you see like me playing the guitar. Well, one of them, that was my first time playing it, okay, there was one time, I mean, if you see it, I have like a white shirt on, and I'm just playing the guitar, I'm not singing at all. That's when I started back with the guitar, the concept of the guitar, and I would just, you can see I just played it like I said, kind of animal type playing. And I don't mean anything like an animal, but if we can kind of get the mentality. So that was not too many years ago, maybe like three or 4 years ago, maybe 5. And then I moved like 2 more times, and I still have that guitar. So now I can show you that one that I already have. It came with a case, so. So, this is the guitar right here that I got first. And this is not electric guitar, okay? This is just acoustical guitar. Now, I'm also talking about my evolution, and I'm actually doing them together. I thought it was 2 separate things, but I'm gonna talk about the evolution and I'm showing my guitars. So I didn't realize that it was gonna be like that. So it came with the case. It's really nice, and I don't dust it, but oh, look it! I didn't even know it had this handle. It has a handle here. Okay. It has. I'm not selling it. I'm just showing you. It has a thing in here. I don't know what I would use it for. Then it has a bag, a little thing in here. I think she sold it to me, and then I gave her some money for this because it was so nice. And then I got this. She got picks in here. I didn't even realize that. It's funny because when I bought the bass, my friend came over to me. He was at work, and he goes, "Here's a pick." And I go, "Oh," it was like gold to me. And I didn't know, but now I can see that I have like, how many picks are these? Oh wow, it's like 5 or 6 picks. And I thought that one was special. And I have this. I don't know what this is yet. Okay, but oh, now, which I didn't even realize. I didn't even look at this. This is, I could play it with the strap. I didn't realize that she had this in here. Thank God I did this YouTube. So I can actually strap on the guitar, which I didn't know I could. I was just playing it without strapping it on. So it looks like it's a way for me, yep, there's a way for me to strap it on. You know, now I know that. So I'm glad I did this. I'm glad I'm doing this YouTube. Okay? So that's the case, very nice case. And like, this is the guitar. And like, I played one of the songs. I played a song because I am a songwriter, very good songwriter, very prolific. I think it's pronounced prolific or whatever. I can write songs. Now I'm working like every day. Okay, so I don't get a chance. I don't get the chance to do some things, but I can't do so many things. So anyway, I just play. Okay, but this is my evolution of playing the guitar. Now, there's one big deal about it, is that I remember that when I couldn't move at all on the guitar, and I forgot, but I think this is, let me see if I can show you. This is how, my first song, it would be like, dun, let me see, dun, dun, let me see, dun, 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 dun. I mean, that was basically dun, dun, something like that I did when I first played the guitar. But back then I couldn't move on the guitar. But now I just play, and I'm moving, but I don't know what I'm doing. And like in my song, if you see, I got this one song, and I could do it very well, even though I don't know. I just know I'm moving and I'm making sound or some kind of rhythm. But it's good now that I see, and I'm gonna tell you why it was good, even that I was just playing and not knowing what I was doing. But I had a song that I sang, and that one was The Glass Rose. And I just, you know, something like that. I don't care about in key, or if I have to tune it or anything like that. I just play, and I did that one pretty good. Okay, but I can get into like this state. I wish I could knew another word for that state, but it's like an animal. I call it animal state because you're just like so much into what you're doing, you know what I mean? And if you see that song, The Glass Rose, you can see that I'm so much into it that I'm coming up with something, okay? And that's how I play. So then, that's... Okay, like, right now, I'm not in that, I can't, you know, because I'm not, like, in, you know, where I'm thinking about the music and I have this drive, that animal state. but that's how I play. Every so often I can do it. I can't do it on a dime. I have to be like, oh, I really want to play this song. And if I really want to play a song, I do it. I did it when I first got this guitar, like I was telling you, and it's the first part of when I started doing these YouTubes, because I had that animal state. Because I just got the guitar and I put myself into this music thing. So I, did some of the songs that I have written in my life when I first started doing these YouTubes. And, some people still listen to them. But the first time was when, I think it's the first one where I have like this white t-shirt and I think of white pants and I just play. That kind of a state, okay? But now, so now you understand how I play the guitar. So let me put this one back. I can do very well, like I said, but I can't do it on a dime. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just in, just a music state, you know what I mean? I can still get there, but I need more. Now I'm at a position to where I need more information, because I want to be able to go to that state, that music state, that animal music state without going, just do it naturally. I want to be able to do it naturally. And that's what I feel a lot of people who play instruments do. And actually I do it when I sing. When I sing, I know exactly how to get into it. I don't have to force myself, or I don't have to find the state. That's one example of the state I was telling you about. Because I sang so much, I'm a classical vocalist. I know how to get into that state without, just whenever I want to. As far as the guitar, it's not whenever I want to, because somebody asked me, oh, you play the guitar? I go, yeah, and she goes, oh, why don't you play something? And I tried to warm up, and I didn't know what the state was. I didn't know what I was doing. So that's about my guitar here, okay? It's about this guitar. And I found out a lot of things about this guitar actually doing this YouTube. I didn't know it had all these handles. It has this handle, it has this, actually a backpack. Kind of like a back. I thought it was just like this, but you can actually put it like this. I didn't know that, okay? And it also has this thing. I didn't know that. So this one is equipped with so many handles. I could be in any position. If I travel with it, I don't think I have any problem finding a comfortable way to carry it. Okay? So now we're going to get into the other one. So, I didn't open it yet, and now I'm going to open it. I think I'm going to show you I'm sitting on an amplifier, okay? My friend, who also now is teaching me to do this bass guitar, he's not charging me because we're supposed to have a band, so he's trusting me. So he gave me things at a very cheap price, very cheap, okay? And because he said, I'm doing it because I think that we could, jam together, okay? Because I've been in music so long. I'm going to help him write music because I can write very well. And he just had pieces of songs. And his father actually made a living off of playing being a musician. So the guy is like a total musician. His father was in the music, and his father taught him about the music industry, about so many things, okay? And he knows, evidently, he can tell that I could do this thing, okay? Because we talked a lot about, like, for instance, we talked about chords. And I already knew, he said, chords, don't worry about, like E9 or all these and I said, you're talking about, let me see, semiotics. Okay, I think that I'm pronouncing that right. But semiotics is symbols. We use symbols all the time. It's like for numbers, and we use them. And as far as guitar music, which is very important in communication. They name the chords and everything like that. He said, "Don't think anything about that. Just think about the pattern." And he saw that I picked up that like instantaneously. Okay, so he knew that I could do it. So he showed me this. This is the amp that he had. So I guess I'm showing you the amp. I'm gonna try and show it to you. Okay, I'm gonna show it to you. I'm gonna take this out and I'm gonna show you the amp. Okay, so you could see. Let me see if you're able to see. Oh, okay, I'm gonna show you. See? I don't know what all the things are, but I just want to give you an idea of the amp. And then you have it. It's very heavy. And then you have this in the back. And this, some of you probably know what all this is. Something that I have to learn. He didn't know what everything was, but he knows a lot. It's just that he didn't I mean, he has so many instruments and stuff that he didn't really pay too much attention to it. Plus, he's not really a bass player. Okay, I think I would love the bass. But anyway, now I'm going to the guitar. I have to do another one. So this is the first time I opened it since I got it. You know. And this one has the handle, of course, heavier, and I have a handle here. So guitars are really into handles. Okay, so I got that. Okay, that's a nice case. This one can be zipped. Maybe there's some picks in here. Nope. Okay, so now I'm gonna open it for the first time. I mean, I already seen it because when I was at work, he played it. I was working. I was like, I have to work. I mean, but he's no, we could do it. Let's do a jam. It's like, okay. Okay, so here it goes. It's padded very well. It's got this 2 scratches, but I really like the scratches. I like unique things, okay? And then I have to fix something here that I don't even know what it is. It's like right here. Let me see what time it is. Okay, it's good time. And I love green. It's my favorite color, okay? So, anyway, here we go. So now I have it on. I can adjust, I can learn how to adjust. And I think this thing went off just a little bit when I was, but it's all right. Okay, so I can't put it on, so I'm not gonna put it. Oh, there it goes. Yeah. All right, that's better. I didn't know this did that. Okay, so then his first lesson, I said, "Give me a lesson," okay? I said, "Give me a lesson," and you know what he did? He took his finger and he bent it all the way back, and it was grossing me out. He said, take your finger and go like that. He bent his finger all the way back. All of his fingers went bending back. And I said, good thing I'm not that naive, because I would go home and break my fingers. But he bent all of his fingers back. It was amazing. Okay. So he's saying, you know, like, go like this. I said, okay, of course I know that. I mean, I got that one really quick, of course. And then, you know, he's talking about the stretches, which I'm going to do. You know, I'm going to do those stretches. But I wanted to get to something that, as far as the guitar is concerned. And one thing he told me, which I just got after all these years. First of all, in my evolution, one thing I want to stress to you is that I can move on the guitar, okay? When I first started playing when I was younger, I couldn't move on the guitar. My number one thing is that I can play it, but I just don't know how to play it right. When I say play it, that means I can move my fingers everywhere on the guitar, you know what I mean? But they all mean something. I have to get to where I guess you can say the rules or the way that it's played, the right way that it's played. But if I'm glad that I played it in kind of like an animal system, because I know that I can go from here all the way down here. I know I can move everywhere on the guitar and move this at the same time. So in my first lesson, give me a first lesson, you know what I mean? And he said, okay. When he played, it was so beautiful. I mean, he played a bass, and I think he pretty much knows guitars, okay? And he played it, I mean, so clean that you would never believe. I looked at everything, and then he told me something. He told me, because when I play, okay, see how I move my hand, I do. He also told me that Jimi Hendrix used to do that, which I didn't know. He used to use his thumb, which that made me feel kind of, even though I don't know how to play the right way, it made me feel kind of good. I guess he was trying to make me feel good. And so anyway, he said, don't play on, give me a lesson. I said, and he goes, okay. And I asked, okay, he said, don't play on the fret, okay, which is, of course, if anybody doesn't know, is these things are frets, okay. Don't play on the fret. And he said, and I asked him, I said, so, common sense things that I wanted to make sure was right. I said, when you hit a string, okay, do you play that string? He goes, yes. When you hit the string, you play the string, but don't play it on the fret. So that taught me a lot of things, okay. And he told me about the patterns that he's going to teach me. So now I have to. My first lesson is getting to know the different, what I would do, since I have a lot of experience with this. And whenever I want to learn something, and I thought when I was younger, I always thought that I could learn things which is good, you can learn by book, but I always wonder what was before the basics. And I'm a master at before the basics. If you go through my videos, I say that a lot of times because I wanted to learn so many things, and I wasn't upset, but I was like, I didn't understand why all these things that we can do doesn't tell you what happens before the basics, okay? And that's what that's what I do, is I learn what you have to do before the basics. So that's what the questions I asked him. I asked him, okay, so when you hit a string, you play it. He said yes. And I asked him, do you have to know these strings? And he goes, yes. You have to know, like if you play this string, you have to know you're playing this string. You play this string, you have to know you're playing this string. I know that seems kind of strange, but that's what I call my lessons before the basics. So now I'm going to start learning the measurements, okay? And you're going to see, because I'm going to keep up with these guitar videos, and you're going to see my evolution grow. So I appreciate everybody who came to this YouTube and talking about my new used guitar and my evolution playing the guitar. Thank you very much.